Now, for me, my positive, it is still God, but I would like to say God allowed the right people to choose me.
Ooh, I love that. I love
Like I said,
Mm.
I never knew how to make friends.
Mm,
I was the type of person, my defense mechanism always is when I get into a public place. I don't know. I don't know if it's just character or something that I've grown up with. When I get into a public place, I shut down.
Girl,
I don't know what happens to
you're
me.
preaching to your congregation.
I don't know what happens. I just shut down. I lose words. I start to stutter. That is something that I'm praying to God to take away, because that stutter comes when I'm in public. It's kind of embarrassing. Like, why should I speak freely and so audibly elsewhere? And then I'm in public where probably there's people that can actually benefit me and I will benefit them. And for some reason, I am battery low, you know. And then God, I pray to him, I'm like, God, now I understand this and this happens when I am here and I don't really have friends, and yet I really do need friends. And then God allowed the right people to choose me. I can tell you there is friendships that have happened, that there's friendships that I've cultivated, and I have seen tangible results with myself, from my character to the way I speak, to the way I carry myself, and to the way I think about myself. And that is something that I so grateful to God for. I let him and
choose your circle.
I let him choose my circle, because obviously the circles that I chose before it was just for the sake of wasting time and depression upon depression. You talk to somebody and then it's like as if they have drained the life out of you, even after you talk to them. And then I used to be so open. I say this all the time. I used to be an open book. Like, I have no problem telling you all my things A to Z. But then I was so hurt terribly.
God had to teach you to
God
shut
had
your
to
mouth.
teach me how to shut my mouth. And in that process, he left friends that would benefit me and teach me. So now there's really, if letting God do what he
love that.
does.
I feel like every time you allow God choose your circle, he brings people in your life that feel a lot like him.
Yes.
Loving you. They don't even
Yes.
feel a lot. He brings people in your life that are
Him.
loving
Yeah.
you through them.
Yeah. Because that is the direct contact, the physical contact we have with, yeah.
I
That
love
is my
that.
positive.
You're positive. My negative, I can say, I'm not going to say a particular person, but I feel like every single time I have embraced any negative perspective of me, any negative perception of me, I have betrayed God and myself. So really, I mean, like, I used to do that a lot. Like, you could literally call me all sorts of trash, and I would take it.
Yeah.
And I would take it. And I can say that's the negative, because it held me back a lot. I could only be what you feel I can be, and I could never be what you feel I cannot be. Like, do you get that? That was such a negative, because I remember there was this particular person, and this person literally represents every person that I in the past allowed speak negatively to me, and I was bound by their negativity and all that. But there was this particular person that I used to, like, I honored them so much. In fact, one day I even told the person, I'm a little bit scared because every single thing you say, I take in like a sponge. I was kind of telling them, if they were a person of character, they would have been so careful with me.
Right.
I was showing this person that I'm that vulnerable to you. If one day you begin to speak different from
It would.
God,
Yeah.
it's going to really mess
Yeah.
me up. And that's exactly what happened. But that's the time I died to the world. If God says it, it doesn't matter what anybody has to say. You get? So I thank God, like, that's the time I became aware of either you believe what God has to say,
Or you
so
don't.
will die.
Yeah.
You will die, because you're going to live a life that has been framed by the negativity of every perspective of you that is false.
I
You
pray
get
that for everybody,
like I
though.
got it does not matter who you are.
Yeah.
If you speak different from God, I have no time for you. My mind has no space for you. In fact, that's the time there's a miracle God did to my ears. See how you can tune a radio station, like you literally know that this radio station is, let's say, 1000.2. And once you've tuned to 1000.2, you can only listen to that frequency.
Yeah.
God tuned my ears, my heart, my senses to that frequency of himself. It's impossible. It's impossible. Like, I'm tuned to God until the day he tunes me to a different frequency. It's impossible. Like, it's become an impossibility. That's why you really need to choose God. There is a power that God has that can guard you and keep you within the circumference of his influence.
Definitely.
Nothing that's not him can infiltrate. So really, for me, that was my negative for a while. I was so sad. I literally got depressed and so sad. I cried and mourned for a while. Like, how can they see me like this? How can they, how can you like just see me like that, But then God, God had to teach me that the first thing he said to me is, first of all, Zoe, I'm not them. You need to begin to see yourself how I
See you.
Because for me, because this person was somebody that I honored so much, and for me they were like the voice of God to me. So whenever they'd say anything negative, I felt like God was saying that about me. I felt like how they saw me was how God saw me. And then one day, God told me, because there was a grace that just, even though I felt like, God, is this how you see me? There was a grace that still kept me with God, And one day, the Holy Spirit tells me, I'm not them. I'm not them. When they're speaking, they're not speaking for me.
Yeah.
And neither are they speaking by my spirit.
True.
So let them go, girl. And God did I, alongside anything and anyone that would ever try to infiltrate my life as a representation of whatever they stood for. That spirit, it was slain forever.
Wow.
Yeah.